welcome back everybody to another YouTube video. It's been a long time and I'm dirty from work. I guess this is a channel update. I think some people are going to take this video not so good, and other people, I don't know. I really don't know how the community, people who follow me, you guys are going to react, but I'm an honest person and I stick to what I believe, and whatever I believe I'm going to let everybody know, right? Right now I'm in my GTI. This car is probably new to you guys, but not really new to me. I've had this car for like about a year. It's a 2015 Volkswagen GTI, and it actually broke down and I just fixed it. Which it was broken down for like most of the time that I've had it. Basically the spark plug electrode on the #1 cylinder broke off and started bouncing around in my cylinder, and I was like hearing this little noise, and so then I taken it to the shop that I bought it from. It's like a Euro place, they're called Eurofed in Jacksonville. They're pretty nice people. So I take it to them and they look at it and they find this debris in there, and we got a red light. They find the debris and they get it out, which it's aluminum, so it wasn't easy to get out, but they got it out for me. And I'm driving a manual, so it's a little focusy. But yeah, so they got it out and they said that I'm gonna need an engine and all this stuff, and I paid like in the neighborhood of 12 grand for the car, and they were quoting me 12 grand for the engine, and I was just like, oh, this is ridiculous. But hey, I'm a mechanic, this is what I do for a living, so voila, I have an idea, right? So basically I ended up buying an engine online. It comes with like a pretty good warranty. It's got like 40,000 miles on the engine or whatever. And the reason I went with buying an engine instead of just tearing it down was I just didn't want to deal with the time that it takes to do all that. Like I could take the cylinder head off, take all the timing off, half the engine apart, remove the cylinder head, and then get the cylinder head resurfaced and get the valve seals redone and all that stuff, or resealed, which they call it lapping. Could have done all that and then put it back together and then see if it fixed the issue, and then maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, and you just wasted all this time and money, because of course it takes a lot of money to take an engine apart and then replace seals, replace one-time use bolts, all this crap, and then on top of trying to remember how you took it apart, so all that stuff. And it's also very delicate. If you mess anything up, you could basically blow the engine up anyways, so it's just a big hassle, And so I ended up and plus there was a mark on the cylinder wall, which I wasn't sure if that was the cause, because basically the #1 cylinder lost 30 psi and the other cylinders had 180 psi, so it had like a loss of 30 psi. And so I'm just like, I don't know for sure where what thing is causing that. So I just went ahead and was like, I'll just replace the engine for 4 grand, 4 or 5 grand. And it comes with basically everything that I need. It comes with a new engine harness, turbo, all that stuff. All I got to do is transfer over the alternator and the AC compressor. I ended up replacing like a ton of things, like the engine mounts and stuff, but overall I think it was more of a cost-effective and just time effective way of doing it. So anyways, that's a rant about my car. But this is a video update, so this is kind of one of the things in my life that is a good update on. So I do like my car. It's pretty nice. It's let's just say it doesn't come like this from the factory. I'm not gonna say anything else because don't want to incriminate myself or anything, but yeah, it's a fast car, and I really enjoy it. It's a 6-speed manual. So I've always liked manuals. I mean, every other car that I've owned, like literally every other car that I've owned, starting from my first car, has been a manual. Now I have 2 cars because this thing broke down for so long, so I ended up buying another 1999 4Runner. I think I did make a YouTube video on a 4Runner. I think I probably made it privatized or whatever, because I didn't think I did a very good job at narrating it or telling, explaining how to fix what I was doing. But some of you might know I did have a 4Runner, and then I sold it, and then I had this thing, and then it broke down, so I bought another 4Runner. So and that thing's got a million problems too. So I don't really know if I'm going to keep that or what. But I mean, you know, with 2 cars that like to break down, at least you have one that's probably going to be running, right? So there's that. So anyways, on to the main channel update. We're already 5 minutes into the video. The main channel update is I am no longer a concave earther. Wow, everybody's gonna freak out. Like, you know, I don't know. I just I did some thinking, and I have some bullet points, and maybe I'll make a more formal video on why I've changed my mind. But the gist of it is, I guess one of the main things that I just kind of had an epiphany on was when we look at like the planets, right? If you look at like Mars, for example, you can see Mars, and you can see this from Earth. Like, you know, you can go on YouTube, find DIY, actual, you know, amateur videography, photography of the planets and the stars and stuff, and you can see them photograph and video Mars, right? And Mars, you can see that it actually changes throughout the year, right? Sometimes it's more in the same, you know, obviously in the same atmospheric conditions on Earth, you can see that that Mars actually changes. Like, it looks more blurry or like more sandy, and then it changes, and then you can see details that like of darker spots and stuff on it. And then you can see that there's a cycle where there's actually this white stuff on, you know, on this little ball, where it goes away and it comes back. And to me, that really looks like the same thing that we have here on Earth, which would be like the planet. And I don't know, I just think that that's a pretty strong piece of evidence. And I think SpaceX, honestly, is a strong piece of evidence. I know a lot of you guys, or some of you guys, I don't really know what the percentages are, but may believe that SpaceX is fake. But me personally, I don't think that it's fake. I think that would be extremely difficult to fake. You can actually go to Florida, you can see these things launch, and you can see them, you know, going up into space and all that stuff, and they put it all on video. And at no point do you see, you know, like a glass lens or anything like that. It's pretty much just the atmospheric plasma. And so that's another thing that I find concerning for the model. And so I just, at this point, I don't really believe in the concave Earth. I still find it an interesting theory, you know. I mean, I don't know. And as far as the Bible goes with the shape of the Earth, I mean, you know, who knows? Maybe it's just not that kind of book. You know, I mean, and I'm sure there is information in there, you know, like about the firmament and things like that we don't understand, and we just don't know about. We don't understand what it means, and it may well have a scientific meaning. I think it probably does, but you know, I don't know what the answer is on it. You know, I'm looking at the evidence that we have before us, and I think that it's more likely that the Earth is just, you know, a spinning ball. So. You know, and I don't know. I wonder if, because I don't know what the concave Earth community is like. I've never really talked to anybody from there, except, you know, maybe a few people on Instagram. But you know, I don't think that we're the same as like the flat earthers who are just freaking crazy. You know, they're just, oh, like there's you know, that controversy that's going on right now. More current events for this video. The flat Earth community has basically just been destroyed. They're having a mass exodus because some, you know, I don't know what the names are off the top of my head, but you know, some big name flat earthers like Jeranism and some other people who don't believe in the flat Earth offered them to go to Antarctica and look at the 24-hour sun, which is obviously impossible on a flat Earth, unless, you know, you come up with some kind of matrix theory or whatever. Impossible on the flat Earth. And so that's basically destroyed the flat Earth, and people like Jeranism have changed their mind, which I never really watched him, but you know, he's obviously very popular. So anyway, yeah, I don't really know if that's what the you know, what our community is like. I don't think so. So I don't know, you know, what the reaction of you guys is going to be, but you know, I plan on making some more content, and I have some ideas about you know, the heliocentric model and the plans that SpaceX has. So I'll probably make some content on that, and you know, but obviously I'm going to make more content on why I think the Earth is actually round now. And yeah, I mean, so I mean, honestly, I don't think the concave Earth ever had a lot of like I think in some of my older videos I did say that I don't think there's a lot of physical evidence for the shape of the Earth. I think, you know, before I said that the only evidence that you could really come up with would be, you know, like the fence, that fence experiment where you have, you know, the top fence horizontal beam, and they have the lower fence horizontal beam, and one is following the shape of, you know, gravity, and the other one is supposed to be exactly 90 degrees from the other ones, and, you know, it's just a straight line basically, and then that way you can actually know what the shape is without using light or any other type of thing. It would just be straight physical matter, right? That's following either gravity or following a straight line. And, you know, I think that's still, I mean, it still is true, like in comparison to if we were trying to figure out if the Earth is concave or not. Like, that would be the best experiment, I think, if it's feasible. But I mean, as far as, you know, other ways, I think that looking at the stars, looking at Mars, for example, I think that is a pretty good piece of evidence, in my opinion. I don't really see a way to get around that, you know. So that's one of those things. But I mean, again, one of the other things is SpaceX and all the things that they're doing, and honestly, I mean, you have to think about it from the perspective, like a financial perspective of motivations. Like, why would a company like SpaceX do all this stuff if they're just faking everything, you know? And I just don't see how that makes sense. And that's one of the reasons initially, even as a concave earther, why I believe that space travel is possible, because it wouldn't even make sense to spend all that money for no reason. And so, you know, I think that the ISS is probably real. I think I did change my mind a while back about that, even as a concave earther, but I think my position was more like maybe they're just not showing us the real footage. But, you know, honestly, there's no reason for that either. So yeah, so that's about all I got for this video. You know, comment what you guys think. Tell me if you guys disagree with me, if you're hard on the concave Earth, if you're undecided, what you think it holds you back from the convex Earth, and what explanations you think could explain some of the things that I'm talking about. And yeah, just let me know. So thank you guys for watching the video. And you know, I'm gonna still keep making content. I guess it kind of depends on you know, the viewership of this channel. I mean, it never had that much to begin with, but you know, it depends on how that goes, whether or not I continue doing the channel, I guess. I do have another channel I've been planning on making for a long time. You know, more political stuff and just kind of random things, but you know, I just never have had much time because I'm always doing stuff. And you know, I like to watch things more than I like to create content, because, you know, I don't know how good of a content creator I would be, you know. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just talking out loud right now. So yeah, I mean, I hope you guys enjoy the video wherever you are, having a good day, night, whatever. And thank you for watching. And if you still are interested in this channel, then like, comment, subscribe, whatever. So yeah.